Inside the mind of trauma, not feeling good enough. Is it possible that trauma can go unnoticed and leave you a belief that you're not good enough or ashamed of who you are, regardless of how much success you accomplish? That was my story. Said another way, your body will remember what your mind tries to deny or forget, or you will try to believe your traumatic events are behind you. That's what I did. I believe unless we understand how trauma gets accumulated in the body, will we learn how to heal. I believe talking about our past events sometimes only reinforces our suffering. Because talking is head knowledge, isn't it? Not the story our sacred body would tell us about what it was like to be traumatized. That is why I tell clients, you don't have to relive your past. At the end, I will share a guided imagery meditation on what trauma looks like and how to heal it. I'm Georgie Holbrook. I'm not a doctor. For the past 30 years, I've been teaching natural solutions as a holistic teacher. Holistic means whole body. I'm interested in everything that has happened to you and what type of lifestyle you are now living. Click on the link below. I have a free discovery call about my training. I will share from my own experience how trauma impacted my childhood and showed up in my behavior many, many years later. My parents had a desire to have 4 children as they came from large families. I was the firstborn, a healthy baby girl. Between my age 3 and 6, my mother gave birth to 3 babies that died before or after birth. Many believe and have proven that what happens to all of us before 6 years old molds our beliefs and behaviors. Ask yourself, as a child, what type of childhood did you have? What type of losses did you witness? Many of my clients don't have early childhood memories, which means to me there was some reason it was too painful to remember. For me, the loss of 3 siblings left invisible scars. You can't see them. I couldn't identify them, but they surely felt real. I soon took on the belief that life was about losses, lack, and sacrifice. That having a dream, don't count on it to come true. That my answers to not having anything happen to me was to become invisible and isolate, become very quiet. I had a fear of getting sick as a child, that I would die. Many studies show that whatever our parents are feeling, we readily pick up. I picked up my parents' grieving losses and the silence in our house. We ate many meals in silence as the grieving never ended. I was bragged on by my relatives for being quiet. I believe I was emotionally shut down. My parents' answers for getting over their losses was to work extra hard, to not feel. It was the only way they survived. Looking back, my mother never got over the death of her babies. I call it be strong, don't cry, don't feel, don't be real. As a teenager, I had not been taught to identify what I was feeling. Neither did my parents know how to share theirs. As a family, we acted strong and pretended to be happy. But looking back, I think we were just plain numb to the fact going through life. This is how accumulated trauma in our body starts. Each upset, loss, hardship adds up, never being taught to acknowledge the importance of learning how to release them. In order to not feel and survive, my mother not only worked extra hard, she encountered a lot of surgeries as her body told her extreme, sad story. At age 14, I was date raped and didn't tell anyone. Between age 14 and 15, my voice teacher, my one and only cheerleader, died in an auto accident. In order for me to not feel, I was able to take on 2 jobs and go to high school. Work became my drug of choice. Note, these traumatic events, I took on a belief that I'm damaged for life, and my only worth was to work, to prove I was good enough. But notice, this is a false belief. When I feel I have to prove myself or you have to prove yourself in some kind of accomplishment to be accepted, as soon as I accomplish something, it usually has an ending. And then I need to do something more. So none of it satisfies our emptiness or what we feel inside. So for me, I just became more and more exhausted in my work addictive behavior that almost, in the end, destroyed my health and got me in this holistic field. Some of the answers to healing accumulated trauma in the body is to begin understanding the realness of the trauma and how it shows up wanting to be healed. You will notice that your emotional pain will travel. What does that mean? As it tries to get your attention, you will have pain one day in your foot, then in your hip, then roller coaster mood swings. Unless you understand that it is a call for emotional help, more than physical help, it can be sometimes a long, painful experience if you think it's just a physical pain, right? So emotions will trick you by bouncing around. This physical pain that I'm sharing is different than if you have a car accident. I don't do hypnotherapy, but I absolutely endorse many, many holistic modalities. But I do sacred guided imagery to help a client visualize the trauma in their body, moving them out of head knowledge, right? And how to release it, where they can experience the shift inside and the freedom that it can bring. Remember, your body remembers what your body, I'll say it again, remember, your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. We have been taught not to speak our true feelings, mainly because we don't know what we are feeling, or afraid that we will be judged if we do share. Feeling unsafe to share our true feelings, we must find people that can listen to our stories without interrupting us or giving us advice that we didn't ask for, right? So trauma, hidden hurts, rage, anger, and daily upsets accumulate in the body until they show up in unhappiness or mild to extreme health issues. We were taught to deny this truth by being trained to stuff our feelings and emotions. Don't cry, don't feel, don't be real. These are so unnatural. They shut down our life force and we suffer. So let me ask you a question. When going through losses or life changes, and life is always changing, isn't it? Do you know how to avoid having your stress and anxiety tell your inner story and health challenges? I love teaching my clients how vital it is to be prepared in everyday situations to care for yourself, to avoid sacrificing your very life force, right? Your immune system when emergencies arise, and they will arise. But being trained how to recover rather quickly is a gift in your life. So a firefighter is trained before the fire. We have not been trained and suffer in ways that could have been prevented. Disease doesn't just happen, does it? It is years of accumulated trauma and disappointments that have never been able to be healed. I'm here for you. Now is the time to release what your body has been holding on to. I'm going to guide you through a guided imagery about how to heal trauma. This is a story I came up with that helps a lot of people start to heal. I pray it helps you learn how to care for yourself even greater than you have been. This story can apply to almost all of us. So prepare now. Just get quiet. You might want to close your eyes, make sure that all sound behind you is taken care of so that you're in a quiet space. Sit up straight if you can. Breathe with me and then pretend that I'm there with you. I come with love and I come with my angels. And I surround you in this quiet, peaceful space. And then I want you just to breathe in to a count of 4. Breathe out to a count of 6. Just notice how you've been breathing. Again, just pretend that I'm there with you. Now imagine that you and I have been living together and that we decide that we're going to adopt a child, boy or a girl. And so we go to an orphanage and we go in this orphanage, and there's just all these beautiful children. And the manager is giving us a tour with all the paperwork of the children, where they came from, their culture, all kinds of information. And we're just really there, excited about, wow, what would it be like to adopt one of these children? But over in the corner, we notice a little boy or a girl that just sits there. And we ask about this child. And they tell us, oh, that child has been adopted out twice but taken back here. There's nothing physically wrong with it, but they just don't know how to communicate, and we can't figure out how to figure out what the trauma is, what has happened to it, because they're just not able to share. And so we go through the orphanage and we look at all the children. And then you and I decide, you know, that child back there that's sitting in that corner, that's been adopted out twice, has nothing physically wrong with it. We're going to adopt that child. We're going to take it home, and we're going to give it so much love that it doesn't have to tell its story. We're going to give it so much love that we're going to just love it, and all of a sudden, we're going to help it heal whatever that wound is, whatever's happened to this child. So we tell the child that we're going to take it home. Now, this child has already been promised and disappointed. So it's like leery, right? So we take the child home. Now, here's my question. If we had a room full of toys and clothes, would it inspire this child? Would it help it heal? No, of course it wouldn't. So a traumatized child is very different than a normal child. So we want to give it delighted attention. We want to hold it with almost no words. So we're not going to preach to it. We're not going to talk to it. We're just going to hold it. Let it feel our heartbeat. Let it feel the warmth of our body and what that feels like to be safe and secure. We're going to assure this child that we will never, ever bring it back to the orphanage. So we give it delighted attention every moment, taking care of it for the next 2 weeks. But then you and I need to go back to work. So we hire somebody to come in and take care of this child. But their training is different. Their training is to put the child in front of the TV with children's stories and mesmerize it, not helping it to heal. And so the child starts believing, I'd rather be back at the orphanage. At least I can watch the other children. So we put it back, right? Put it back and not get into that healing process. Okay. So what would you do if this was your child? What would it need? So right now, let's just take a look at if this was your trauma and how you're showing up in life right now. In order to heal, we have to feel safe. We have to feel secure. We have to know that on some level, we're in an emergency. So if you and I had a loved one in the hospital, we would stop everything and we would just be with that person. So a traumatized person needs consistency to feel safe and secure and to just feel love and to feel it long enough that eventually that past, whatever happened in the past, will become a blur. They'll still have the memories, but we want to shower those memories with goodness and love and a new lifestyle that eventually you start trusting life again, because life was meant to be trusted. So you breathe now with me and just take in what you learned. If you have had trauma or some event that you're trying to heal, and you're only promising yourself to self-nurture yourself once a month, it's not going to work. A traumatized child needs daily, consistent, feeling safe and secure. Self-nurturing is going to be a part of this big program in order to heal and bring this child back to life. But we're talking about you and I, right? So I suggest that you make a big sign. that I'm orphaned no longer. I will help myself. So you and I, too, being traumatized, have felt like we were orphaned and that there was no answer. So making a sign, I'm orphaned no longer. I will help myself. Reach for help, okay? So the energy wasted in unhappiness and suffering adds up every day. We look at ourselves in the mirror and deny getting our inner child the help that it deserves and desires. Hopefully that was helpful for you. I'm Georgie Holbrook. For 30 years, I've been helping people like yourself learn a beautiful way to support their health and happiness and lifestyles. To learn prevention and how your body calls for help in giving you pain as your friend, not to be cursed, but honored. Pain is your own firefighter alarm, giving you the first signal of something being off, out of balance, something that you're not liking. Remember, you're a sacred self. It is time to learn how to listen to the spirit of your soul. Very different than how we've been taught. I want to help those that are longing to find answers they can trust, experience, and prove. Click on the link below for a free discovery call to learn more about my holistic training. I would be honored to have you in my life. Thank you for sharing this video, and blessings from my heart to yours. I send you love and joyful blessings with all the angels. Bye for now.